So that's the kind of machine that they are trying to build with a constant profit for these people and corporations.
Hey all, mid-May and a scintillating discussion here you don't want to miss. I'm back with Dr. Jakob Nordengerd, and his new book, The Digital World Brain, is telling us all about what the Epstein class wish to do with us cattle. Is that close enough, Jakob?
Well, sort of. It's their plans for the future, you could say.
Yeah, and plans which involve all of the masses, shall we say, being managed in a more effective way. Perhaps that's a nice way of putting it.
Yes, leaving no one behind. It's what the United Nations usually refer to. Uh, Everyone should be on board on this agenda, the future agenda.
Yes, of course. And people generally will be familiar with Agenda 2030, which came from 21, and your book, Rockefeller Controlling the Game. Fantastic summary of who's who and who's driving what. But I often tell people quite simply it's Rockefeller Foundation and probably Rothschilds in there, and a lot more of these elite who feel it's their responsibility to manage the world, shall we say. And then they create all these bodies like the UN and the EU, I guess. And you've got Bilderberg and Davos and all these management structures and NGOs, Club of Rome. And it's all to manage the world in a better way in their minds. But of course, it's the end of freedom, autonomy, free speech, and basically hope for the future for the masses. Unless they react and they learn what's going on. So maybe today we'll leave behind this story up to 2020 and get into your new book. I believe you have it there, The Digital World Brain.
Yes, here it is. In this is the English version. I have it in the Swedish and also recently a German edition of this book.
Oh,
So
very
just
good.
yeah,
Germany is an important market for people to wake up.
We
it
saw what
is
happened during the COVID
absolutely
flu, and they've
yes.
also
These same bad guys have taken away their nuclear industry. Their industrial base is collapsing. They're heading for calamity, all pretty much by design. But maybe I don't know how you get into the digital world brain, and so we can have a punchy 30 minutes so people get the gist of it and then they can get the book. How would you go about summarizing it, background, and lead into it?
Yes. The thing is, in 2020, we start with 2020 or even before 2020. Yeah, if we go back to 2015, there was a meeting and we had the agenda for 2030 decided. At the same time, it was a think tank called Stimson Center that released a report about the future of governance. And this think tank, a Washington think tank, very connected to these elites in the Anglo-American establishment, the Council on Foreign Relations, Trilateral Commission, and so on. And this in this report, it's what kind of Madeleine Albright was involved in this. She was one of the co-chairs. And it recommended that they would have a conference on the future of the United Nations in 2020 and how to reform the organizations to be more efficient and be better fit for future challenges. And when we step forward a couple of years to 2019, we had another very important meeting. That meeting was between um, United Nations and World Economic Forum, where we signed a partnership uh, for how the World Economic Forum could help United Nations to achieve Agenda 2030. And right before this, WEF had launched the Fourth Industrial Revolution, Essentially the idea of using humans with a machine, cyber-biological systems, and transhumanist technocracy, everything that we can now see is coming in fruition. And they joined forces. And I would say that what comes after this is a result of a collaboration. In 2020, they had this meeting, and we had at the same time the COVID-19 pandemic. And this was a kind of a trigger that told the world that United Nations can't cope with this. It's too complex for them. They don't have enough mandates and so on. It's not coordinated enough with the responses. So they had a meeting, and they said that we need to we request from the Secretary General. This was the General Assembly meeting in September 2020. We request of the Secretary General that he brings forth a report next year on how to create a more and better efficient United Nations system. And this was published in September 2021, called Our Common Agenda. And as I usually say, our. It's not like it's you and me. It's more like it's United Nations, the organization, those people that run it, and the World Economic Forum, and those who are running the World Economic Forum. That's their agenda.
Oh, absolutely. And, as I keep explaining to people, just keep it simple. These people are not truly elite. Some people pull me up and calling them elites because you're giving them a status that they shouldn't have. And it's very fair. So I've changed now to Epstein class, which I think is quite current, or the parasitic class. So basically, the people who have pushed for power and money and control for decades or centuries, and eventually they get up where they can actually change the world and model it in their image, how it should be managed, especially the little people. So if people think the parasitic class now, they've done quite well, they pulled off COVID pretty well, astonishingly well, some might say, and now they want to seal the deal, I think. And my understanding is the digital world brain will be kind of a way to seal the deal, lock down things, predict future problems with people or uprisings, and in advance take care of any problems against the parasitic class before they develop into something big. Is that a reasonable high-level view?
Yes, I would say so. That's what the digital world brain will achieve in the end. And now they are building it. So our common agenda is a more or less of a digital upgrading of the world, and how to digitally connect everyone to this system, to this world system.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess if maybe run through the structures of it in a high level way and some of the key influencers or parasites that are helping drive it from the top. I know there's a lot of useful idiots, hundreds of thousands of useful idiots in the UN who actually believe this is a good thing. So they really use useful idiots and NGOs very effectively. You got to hand that to them. But yeah, key players and how it's being structured. And of course, ultimately, we'll finish at the end with how we push back.
So the question was the key people?
And the key kind of infrastructure of it. So what companies and people are creating what kinds of infrastructure, kind of, and how it'll work, how they want it to work.
Yes. So it started in 2020 already with a plan, a digital plan for United Nations. And we find people that, like Melinda Gates, involved in this. So they invited all these big corporations to be a part of developing the system. And we basically find also all the members of the World Economic Forum, all these big corporations, they are involved in the buildup of the systems, of course. So, uh, and we when we have philanthropists behind these networks, behind United Nations and behind World Economic Forum. And as I covered in my books before with Rockefeller Foundation, Rockefeller Brothers Fund, and so on, they are very, very involved in setting up this agenda and how to achieve it. Also through their old formula with crisis creation, with because the new system is a crisis management system. The, it will have the ability uh, to via this information, data collecting, with connecting everyone and everything to this kind of machine. You create a sort of a digital crystal ball where you can look into the future, more or less, or that's the idea behind it. And you can see if some crisis will evolve. And then you will be ready with something that they label an emergency platform.
And
And this emergency platform, it will be if we have a crisis, this will automatically be put together and have predetermined protocols that we work with. As we saw with COVID-19, they can use this for every other kind of crisis that comes up. And those who will work with it is, of course, the same type of corporations that will benefit from the things that they impose on the world in order to solve the crisis. Well, that's usually how they have done before as well, but now it's a more refined and more perfected system that they are have in mind. But now we are witnessing the kind of a collapse of the old order. Because this system, we can see that it's constructed in the background. I have been following this with this kind of meetings they have. You can find it referred to during the G20 summits and so on. So all over the world, member countries are implementing these plans to put it together in the end. And now we have this big crisis scenario where we have a breakdown of an old order with their United Nations cannot respond. And that's the idea behind United Nations. They are just a talking club where you can do anything, they can't prevent anything, they are basically useless, as Donald Trump has said as well. And Donald Trump is kind of the wrecking ball that wrecks the old order. The old We had the Bretton Woods system and the United Nations system that we had since the Second World War. And now they want to show the world. But we really need to do something in the end, because this will be kind of the end of the old American empire. And they want to build this new structure afterwards. So we will have all these crises, where an energy crisis now, that can be evolved into food crisis and so on. A lot of things. If we don't have oil, it's a big problem to run a civilization. It will basically collapse without oil. So, and they have been using this before with the oil crisis in the 70s, for example. That's a perfect way to upgrade your system and put in this centralized control grid. Uh, so yeah,
And yeah, it's always the same playbook. It's funny, over the last 6 or 7 years, particularly as I became aware of geopolitical reality, and of course, Rockefeller controlling the game and your other books were a huge help in that. But when you actually understand how the parasitic class, the leadership, works, they always apply the same tried and trusted methods. I mean, problem, reaction, solution, heavy use of propaganda, and leveraging the education systems and taking them over to teach people to not be critical thinkers, but to follow the leader, trust the science, you know. But they always used it, going back to probably the Roman Empire, the people at the top would have used essentially without technology the same ruses. And they always leverage a massive horde of useful idiots who are well rewarded with, high paying jobs and future positions. And they really have done a great job, I think. But awareness now is growing. This discussion is part of that. And they're getting a lot more pushback from the people. I think that's a fact. I don't know if it's enough, but it's a fact. Ireland has now announced digital something Ireland 2030. They don't even hide it. It's Agenda 2030. It's what you're referring to here. And we're going to help everyone with convenience by giving and offering everyone a digital wallet. And there's only a couple of things go in there, and maybe over time, don't worry about it, maybe some more things will be trapped in your digital wallet, like your health records and vaccines and everything. And they're trying to feed it, but there's a lot of awareness in Ireland and a lot of pushback bubbling now under the surface, which is good.
yes, of course, we have a pushback, but we also know from history that we usually, if we get pushback, they will step back a bit, little, but then we will gradually try to take control again and push forward because they always have a new generation to work with. And that's what's happened. A lot of the pushback also comes from an older generation that is not, we're not that used to this digital system. We remember how it was before, but we have a new generation. For them, it's just natural. Why should we use cash? This is convenient. We have not know. We don't know anything else but this. That's the thing. They upgrade every new generation with new thinking through the education system and new technology that young people just love, and they are so and these addictive tools that they give people as well. So yeah, we have a pushback, and we also have some young people that actually think as well. We always will have, we had it back in the Roman time, we have thinking people in every generation as well who can act. And I think it's, as always, it's a little minority that will be those who oppose this order and eventually can make it crumble in the end. Because what I think as well is that as with every empire, I usually say this: every empire falls. It's a natural law, and this system that they are building, that we see as the perfect system, because they also will use this agentic AI without humans, so they can just dictate from the top. They don't need all these useful idiots. They can just have a system do the dirty work for them. But this is an untested system. It has never been built before. not for what we know about, but so it's unknown ground. It's impossible to know exactly what will happen in the future, even though we're building this crystal ball. So it will always come up things that they don't haven't thought about. And if we go back to history, we can see how empires they can't survive in the long run. They reach a climax, and when they think now we have total control, that's the point when it start to crash, more or
And
less. Yeah,
unravel.
yeah, yeah.
Hubris.
It's
And
hubris. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, the parasitic or Epstein class, yes, they are very clever and cunning, and that's how they rose to where they are. That's true. But there's massive amounts of very clever and cunning critical thinking people in the population. They may be a minority, but their absolute numbers are pretty huge, way outweigh the bad guys. And perhaps to help younger people understand what's at stake here, we could, and I don't want to be negative, but we could paint a picture of what they desire and what it would be like if they successfully achieved the agentic AI running the system, where the pulse of the people will automatically be sensed through data and all of their digital IDs and QR codes. Any rebellion or pushback can be nipped in the bud in advance, so you can't create a pushback because you're caught before you even begin. And voting then could be decided on issues by simply, and if you're the guy who runs the system, you can choose how to decide what the people want through the algorithm.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
program it. But voting would not be needed because you could assess the masses, the cattle, and decide what they really want, what's really best for them. So maybe we talk about what it would be like if they succeeded in this digital world brain in a big way, and what life would be like for people and how it would change in terms of their volition and freedom. And then we'll circle around to how we push back and ensure that they don't get this. So maybe paint a picture of what it would be like in the world if they really did good with achieving this madness.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. Very good point. We have to show the way and also show the a more preferred way, a more humane way, and what kind of society that these people will have if they don't take all the gadgets that Big Brother gives them all the time. I think we have talked about this in some previous episode. We will have a much more fun party. That's what we will show the young people. Come to our place. It's here we have a lot more fun than this dystopian place, just cold, dead, and controlled. That's not the party you want to be a part of. It's better to be with us.
Yeah, for sure, because their ultimate desire is people will truly become kind of ants in ant farm. And that's the bottom line. So, yes, the majority may be okay enough, but anyone who wants to exercise personal freedom, free speech, and live as humans were made to live with freedom, all of those people who will be the best people out of humanity, they will end up completely restricted. So any open discussion on something in the world that's happening that's really bad, like a genocide, if the parasitic class want the genocide, anyone who complains will find that their convenient digital currency stops working. And they'll find that there's knocks on the door because the digital brain is scanning everyone and what they're saying and doing. And if someone begins to be unhappy and begins to think critically and begins to think with values and principles and has discussions in real life with people about what is wrong in the world that needs fixing, they'll find that suddenly they get the knock on the door, the cards don't work, and all that convenience will be turned with a bang against them, and all of their freedom, freedom of speech, autonomy, and what makes us human will just wink out of existence. And this isn't a conspiracy theory. This is essentially written through all their official documents and plans. Not explicitly, it's between the lines everywhere.
Right?
Yeah, you can find it in my book. I have a chapter about United Nations behavioral design programs, where we talk about how we will nudge and sludge people to go in the direction they want them to do. If they go in the wrong direction, it will they will make things very hard for them. It's like, okay, you're free to choose, but if you chose the wrong way, it will turn to hell for you.
Yeah. And you know what? Just for people to resonate, most of my audience obviously will be critical thinkers and pretty awake, just by virtue of the fact, and yours too, by virtue of the fact of the truth we've been sharing for years. We have credibility now. We've been proven correct on essentially nearly everything. Can't be correct on every prediction, but 90% plus. But the thing is, this loss, it's such a huge loss for humanity. But if people are curious about how bad could it get if we don't push back in real world and grow awareness with real people, if we don't stop it, just think of COVID and how utterly insane it was. Literally, the government in Ireland and all over overnight made new corrupt laws to say you could not go more than 2 kilometers from your house. And then it was 5 kilometers. Essentially coerced to take brand new exploratory medical treatments, injectables, coerced across hundreds of millions of people. You'll lose your job if you don't take the magic sauce that we just pulled out of our ass in the last few months, when it takes 10 years to really develop what might be magic sauce and usually isn't. So just think of what happened in COVID and what it felt like. And think of that not just for COVID for a year or two, but think of that just indefinitely. Just think of COVID regime looking over your shoulder, being harassed and attacked by the lamestream media and being coerced to do things against your fundamental dignity as a human being. And think of it not just for a COVID period, but think of it as just the way life is. I mean, that's what's at stake, right? That's what they're going for, is COVID regime, but indefinitely. And of course, like all totalitarian systems, when they get rolling and they get a grip on you, they tend to become more and more evil. It's a natural progression because the power they have is dizzying to the parasitic elites that are running it. If they get this system, they will be almost bloodthirsty for enforcing more control and punishments on the masses. That's exactly the way it would be if they get what they want.
Yeah, it's like they will have a permanent crisis, an emergency. Or it's always an emergency, and wherefore we have to use the emergency powers all the time. So you can never relax in this society. Always be afraid of what's coming. At the same time as they tell you that they are the guardians, they are taking care of you, and all these security system outside will help you to be secure when you walk streets and so on. But it's just false because these people and these big corporations, they, as I said, they do a lot of money on the crisis creation, so they need it. As with the energy crisis now, It's always these people that makes fortunes on the crisis that we have with rising prices and so on. So that's the kind of machine that they are trying to build with a constant profit for these people and corporations. And and that comes we have greed, of course. They get greedy, and this greediness in the end will create problems for themselves. I would say.
And you know, I often, uh, well, in the last 6 months or so in interviews, I just explain it as simply as I can. The masses and keeping their freedoms and their safety and quality of life and being able to live by values and principles. Think of that as a body of people, you know, and the body has an immune system against the parasites. And when the parasite begins to attack, the body, which is all the masses, begin to sense a problem and they begin to push back. And if you get 20 or 30% of people, certainly, who are aware largely of what's going on, the plans of the parasites are over. The immune system activates and spreads its response, you know, like a human immune system. And the parasites simply have to back off. But also, if the parasite does get dominance, to your point, the parasite often ends up killing the host because the parasite can't help itself. Technically, the parasitic class should just, you know, profit off us, make sure we stay as debt slaves and dead end jobs, and just continue to feed off us. But the problem is, to your point about greed and power hungriness, the parasites in our current situation can't help themselves. They want it all. They want total control. They don't want to just feed off us and create crises to profit from for their parasitic corporation pals.
Yes, they need a goal. They want to win. That's what we strive for. Of course, it's boring if you don't have this kind of end goal uh, of total control, and that's where they lose.
Yes, but that's basic psychology too. It's the same for good people and ordinary people. You know, what was that phrase? Paradise achieved is a boring hell. So what should drive people, you, me, all of us, is fulfillment, not happiness, not having money, but fulfillment. And to get fulfillment, you always need a vision and a goal you're working towards. And then as you achieve some of those goals, you get genuine fulfillment, not just happiness like taking drugs or drink. And then you make new, loftier goals. And they should be good and based on values, principles, you know, and help humanity and make you feel good as a human. But these people, being human parasites, unfortunately, they've got the same desire to have goals and visions, but they're corrupt and evil ones. But they still drive them like good goals and visions would. They're pretty scumbag. Now, we might, because I know we wanted to keep this one tight, and then we'll show where people can get the book, because people need to understand this, what's coming. The immune system of the masses that I mentioned, its most powerful mechanisms are freedom of speech, discussion, dialogue, and awareness. In real world, not just on the internet, in chat rooms. So maybe we can finish with what we need from the people. And you mentioned this before, real life interaction, discussion, overcome the slurs that are thrown at you, conspiracy theorists being the most corny, ridiculous one nowadays. What we need from the people.
Yes, so what we need, I can just talk about my own goals now because I think that's an important point. We have goals and visions, and if everyone have this goal, a good vision for the future, and not get caught up by the evildoers' visions, then we can actually create something. And me as a person, I have my own vision and things that I want to achieve now. So right at this moment, I want to act more locally and try to. So I have just begun to rent a kind of a small lecture hall where I can people can come together and we can have discussions and lectures and talk about what's happening and spreading awareness on the local level as well. Just meeting people, talking to people, and I always talk about this as well, to have this good relations with your neighbors, have personal discussions with people around you, and build the networks from below, not just caught up in on YouTube, even though it's great to have this because we need this as well. But it's important to just connect to where we live, because that's where we build our communities. So that's important, and spreading this. Just every person can spread this to another person, and have this also this personal level, not trying to be out and preach to people, but more have conversations about maybe as in my city, security cameras coming up everywhere, facial recognition techniques, and all these things, and just talk about it. Is this something that we should accept? Uh, does this create a good society in the end, or is it the opposite? And who has actually started this? Who has created these problems that they now want to solve with this surveillance technologies everywhere? So it's very important just to work with people around you.
Absolutely real life, and
Yeah.
like this fundamental series of changing the way you do things. Back off from the internet. You're absolutely right, Jakob. We do need to use, because the internet is a battleground, we need to deploy troops into that battle with YouTube and all the other stuff. The masses, try to reach them through those platforms. Otherwise, we're leaving a tool unused in the battle. But real life so important. Use cash, support local food suppliers, create local community groups, talk, discuss, dialogue. These things we're talking about here are vastly more important to know about and discuss than the vast majority of people currently talk about and discuss.
I
And
mean,
buy physical books
yes,
and
and
spread
share
them,
them.
share them, talk about them, have book clubs, everything. It's yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm going to finish. I'll leave you final comments then. I saw something that so resonated me. It was a comedy sketch. And virtual reality headsets. And how Microsoft lost a lot of money because they wanted to move people into the BS verse, and they were trying to do all headset stuff and create a digital world you live in and you buy clothes in. Complete madness. Complete madness. But this comedy sketch, a guy has a headset on. He goes, "Oh my God, I made this headset, got instructions on the internet, and it's unbelievable. It's so real." And he says, "Look," and he's looking at a tree in front of him, and he puts his hand on it. "Oh my God, it's so real." And he looks up at the flowers. But of course, in the end, you see the headset is just a clear pane of glass. All you needed to do was walk out in nature.
I,
Reality.
I have done this with my daughters when we were younger, just to show them this is reality. It's fantastic. You can feel things, you can touch them, you can smell things. It's wonderful. And
And
you
real
have it
relationships with
yeah,
real people,
yeah.
real life. And the digital thing has some amusing qualities in terms of entertainment. But let's be honest, it's all fake. It's not real. So here, Jakob, I let you wrap up. Your book is at, what's the best place to get it? Is it your website maybe?
Yes, it's only available on my website. It's not sold through Amazon or these big corporations, actually. Uh, well, you can if you buy it in Scandinavia, you can find it in these kind of web shops of the big chains, big shops as well, but not in the rest of the world. Then you have to go to my store and buy it.
Oh, and it,
Is that still pharosmedia.se?
Yes, it is.
I,
Exactly, you remember. Yeah.
I remember because for many years, as you know, I've been trying to draw people's attention to Rockefeller Controlling the Game and your other books because they're a one-stop shop to truly understand the world and how to push back. And Jakob, it's funny, the best people out there in geopolitics and macroeconomics and the stuff we should all be talking about, our children's futures depend on it, right? The best people, none of them get caught up in 5G or chemtrails or any of these distractions or aliens or even hantavirus stuff, right? They talk about, like you do, who's really driving it, how are they doing it, and what do we need to know about in order to come together and push back. If you think Alex Craner and Simon Dixon, and there's a load of these really good guys out there. But just one last tip I have for people: please, people, try not to be distracted, as the parasites want you to be, into 5G, chemtrails, and all this weather modification. It might be happening. It might be a bad thing. But you're missing the big picture of having awareness grow among people as to who's doing it and how they're doing it. And it's mostly done through law changes and technology, not the other stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Well said.
Okay, so closing comments, Jakob, and we'll wrap it up. We'll keep this one tight. Attention spans are not great these days.
Yes, I usually say we will win in the end. I think it's important to say every time that we will do, and we are coming closer every day. We will have a lot of problems with these parasitic people, these psychopaths, but they cannot win.
no,
It's
I,
impossible.
I agree. We will in the end, and it just behooves us all, anyone watching this, to make sure we win sooner and not have our people and our children suffer too much with these crazy scuzzers. So, thanks so much, Jakob.
Yeah, tack så mycket.
We'll talk soon.
Yeah.
Bye now.
Bye bye.
That'll do it, folks. And please do support Dr. Nordengard. He's doing superb work, and get the fantastic read, The Digital World Brain. And the link is down below to pharosmedia.se. Another quick heads up, we're doing our 5-year anniversary We Love Our Heart conference online with around a dozen fantastic speakers. All the answers you need on avoiding cardiac disease, heart attacks, Alzheimer's, and losing weight, and the best possible lifestyle, scientifically based. So that's on May 30th, 31st, and the link is down below. You can see it behind me here. And finally, just another reminder, crazy stuff happening in the world at the moment, of course, with Iran and everything. But the next few years, myself and the network broadly have it mapped out. There's going to be almost certainly pretty huge things happening with precious metals, and pretty huge negative things happening with a lot of the stock market and pensions that currently exist. So major financial reset. So don't take it from me, no financial advice, but just suggest you talk to the guys in Pure Gold in London. They've been in this business a long time, and you get a free consultation at the link below with those guys, and also I believe a free period of storage, though many these days like to keep possession. So they secure ship or vault pretty much all over the Western world, top of their game. So anyway, just a tip, and we'll catch you with the next one. There's a lot going on.